Yes, the cleanup does continue after those deadly storms rolled through last night at around 6 o'clock. And as you can see from behind me, the sun, portions of the park are still closed.
Scene with the latest developments.
Yeah, it's here. So police are aggressively looking for the driver of an SUV who was driving down Washington Pike at about 1:45 this morning and struck and killed 2 people and kept on driving. Now, police just came over and gave us as much information as they could. Here's what we know happened at this point. 2 people were driving on Washington Pike. Many of these fans here say watching these athletes is as close to the Olympic Games in London as they're going to be able to get. And for many of these people, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As you can see, law enforcement is still here and the crime scene tape is still up, blocking off this apartment where the 3 bodies were found Monday afternoon. Smith says one reason why the students' test scores are improving is new technology like this smartboard. As you can see, it adds a visual and an interactive element to the subject. You have to drive near downtown Knoxville this morning. Be very careful. You said it, a massive fire is still burning. In fact, you can see the cloud of smoke for miles, and this cloud of smoke is making visibility very difficult. Now go ahead and take a look. As you can see, firefighters are still on the scene. But here the freshman core classes are divided up based on gender, and the teachers here say that this change is making a very positive impact in the classroom. Kristen, it is a very, very busy day in the courtroom. The trial is actually still going on. I just walked out of the courtroom a couple of minutes ago and a lot was happening. About an hour ago, the prosecution, the state, rested its case, but also the defense made a motion to drop the charges, saying, quote, evidence is insufficient to sustain a conviction. The judge did overrule this and the trial continued. 8 witnesses have now taken the stand and another video of Kennedy was played. In this video, Jessica Kennedy takes investigators to the home where she says the murder occurred. Kennedy says she watched from the porch as the crime took place. Investigators reenacted the scene. Kennedy says Jim Miller was standing near the trunk of his car while 3 men stood around him. They began to get loud.
You heard what?
Bam, bam, bam.
You heard 3 gunshots. Okay. Now tell me what happened next.
He started to fall.
Kennedy says she saw the men put Miller's leg in the trunk. Then she and one of the men walked to another house, got high, then got into a van and followed the men driving Miller's car to Sands Road where the car was burned. She was then dropped off.
What did he say to you when he dropped you off?
Not to be another loose end he had to tie up, and that he loved me and he was sorry for bringing me in there.
She also had a message for Miller's family.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know, Barry.
Jurors also saw a text from one of the men Kennedy claims played a role in Miller's death. The detective read it to the jury.
I will never tell on myself or the part I played in it. I saved myself first.
The defense brings up other accounts Kennedy claims to have happened. He mentions former Sheriff's Detective Kenny Hope's confession. Hope was cleared. The jurors are also shown the gold, silver, and diamond rings and watch found on Miller's body.
If there was a robbery of Mr. Miller, they certainly didn't take the rings and the watch.
They did not, and that's not unusual in my experience.
In many of the interview tapes, Kennedy mentions the name Brandon Still. Now, Brandon Still is supposed to be one of the witnesses. He was not in court earlier today, but the bailiff just told me as I was heading out here for this shot that he has been arrested and he is now being put under a $1,000 material witness bond. Also going on right now in the courtroom, former Monroe County Sheriff's Department Detective Kenny Hope just took the stand denying that he ever said that he killed Jim Miller. Now, he is actually a witness for the defense. So right now the attorneys and the judge are discussing this matter, and of course we will keep you updated. 11-year-old Sarah Perez was paralyzed in a car accident last year.
1, 2, 3.
I was very lucky because I wasn't supposed to move completely from the neck down or even breathe on my own.
She was determined to improve and gain movement of her upper body.
Let's push it in.
And thought she had filling in her legs.
I told people and they're like, they just didn't pay attention to it. And I was like, well, you know, I think I have more potential than that.
Lift, 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 lift.
So she researched and discovered Project Walk in Atlanta, a spinal cord injury recovery center. Fundraisers in East Tennessee helped her go. She now travels to Atlanta from Sevier County each week. Lead trainer Tony Davenport says Project Walk goes beyond traditional therapy and isn't limited by prescription or insurance guidelines.
All I need to know is what their bone density scan read and how safely, how fast, slow, or what other precautions I need to take, and I can still stand them without needing a prescription for it.
This machine provides electrical stimulation to Sarah's legs. It mimics walking. When she first started 7 weeks ago, she was only able to go 3 miles, but now she's able to go 10. But this isn't the only area where she's improved.
Now, I'm almost taking my first step in the lift walker. 1, 2. And my sitting balance has gotten a lot better.
With support of her knees, can stand and balance without her hands on the bar, whereas before that wasn't even a thought.
Sarah says this is only the beginning. She's determined to walk.
I'm gonna do it. I'm already so close. And I know that if I just continue this therapy, it's just around the corner.
In Atlanta, Stephanie Beacon, 6 News.
Me and Kevin, we just got done catching that big frog down there in my pond behind my house.
As Josh Tifteller looks at photos, he remembers good times with his nephew, Kevin Stinnett.
That was my nephew, is pretty much my son, you know. I thought that boy had a hunt, fish, ride a wheelie, drive a 5-speed.
Kevin Ray Stinnett and Jesse Hines Jenkins were killed after being hit by a train. The two went to William Blount High School. Tifteller says Kevin and Jesse were best friends and hung out together often. Friends and family described them as good people who will be greatly missed. What did they mean to you? What did they mean to you?
More than words could ever. It just made an impact on everybody's life.
Friends and family decorated this overpass in their memory. They left items that reminded them of Kevin and Jesse. 2 crosses were adorned in camo and Confederate flags. A cross was hung and messages were written in paint. Tifteller's hands are still orange.
I spray painted the bridge. If I put in my heart down there, him and Jesse a heart, and I spray painted my hands and put them inside it because my hands were always on them boys. I never let anything happen to them.
Family and friends say the two will never be forgotten. Kevin's cousin, Cora Lewis, says she'll think of him often.
He'll always be here. No matter what, every time I hear a train, I'll think of him. Every time I hear any country music at all, he'll be there.
In Maryville, Stephanie Beacon, 6 News.